Right, we're off. Oh, hang on. Wrong glasses, Laurie. Oh, schoolgirl error.
There
Hey.
you go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome international. Oh, who are we? Intergalactic Council of Three's 20th transmission. How about that? And it's Laurie and I tonight. We've invited all our lovely soul brothers and soul sisters. If anyone is free to join us, that is lovely. If not, we have tons to catch up on, don't we, Laurie? Tons. So you tell me first about what you're going to deliver this weekend, because that's really exciting.
So with my hypnosis and then with my art, I decided to combine them together and do a class where you do meditation and you guide them through their inner strength, their inner world, and find their wisdom and their inner goddess within, and then do a portrait of it. So I'll drop like the picture of them so they have a template to work with. And then I'll paint, and then I'll show them how to do collage work and some of all my little tricks of the trade that I've learned along the way. Then I'll just help them but make it their experience. So everything they pick out will represent something about themselves.
Yeah.
And then they just have it as, all that on them, like a crown in a sense. So yeah.
So they're bringing it to life. They're actually painting it into reality, as opposed to some sort of distant vision that they may or may not ever realize.
Right.
Take ownership of it and create it and manifest it.
Exactly. Because when you bring that into the 3D world, then you have it and you'll go and you'll look at it and more will come to it. Because there's always layers to it.
Absolutely.
So it's, when you're in it and doing it. Yeah. So I'm excited.
That's brilliant. Well, and is that on Saturday?
It's on Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday. So, what time are you launching on your time?
1 o'clock my time, Michigan, U.S. time.
Okay. So I will be holding you in my thoughts and prayers, and excited for you and all your lovely. I suppose they're not delegates, are they? What would you call them? The people that join you for that journey?
Yeah, I guess explorers.
Explorers. That'll do it. Journeyers and explorers. That is
right. We're all explorers, just going to another levels. Yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, so I want to hear about your excursion, since we didn't go on last week because you were having your retreat, and I'm excited to hear about
that's this. It. So this was a channeling workshop with a lady called Janet Treloar, who is a lovely lady, lives in Wiltshire, but hails from Essex, and has been what would you call it? Oh, crikey, is it not a trance medium? She channels spirit. She has done all her life from a very small age, suppressed it, and then it finally bubbled up and she couldn't ignore it any longer. And she actually gets out of her body. So she goes into a very quick meditation, and then she just leaves her body, and her particular guide comes in. And his name is called Zak. He is an aspect of Dwal Kul, the Tibetan. And Zak lived 752 years ago. His name was Zacharias, and he lived in the Middle East, and he is hilarious. I mean, he has a wicked sense of humor, and speaks with a sort of a slight Indian accent, but occasionally drops into Jamaican, which always amuses us greatly. But he just basically, he speaks through Janet. Janet just goes and sits in her safe place, and then Zak leads the meditation. He basically leads the workshop, and we've had 3 days of this near Glastonbury, so that was exciting. We were just 5 miles the other side of Glastonbury, so we were on a dragon line. There's loads of dragon lines and ley lines that run through Glastonbury, obviously, because it's deemed to be the heart of the world.
It's on my top 10 places to go.
Well, when you go, you tell me and I'll join you there. In fact, come and stay with me and then we'll go together.
I want to go.
And we'll walk up. Yeah, anyone else come and join us? We'll walk up the tour and bathe in the goddess energy.
We should just do our own.
Exactly. Well, the centre we were staying at the Earth Spirit Centre was absolutely marvellous. We could easily, hire that for a bit. So we just spent 3 days in and out of deep meditation, being guided by Zak to connect with our guides, any spirit that wanted to come through and channel. We had 2 specific events where we actually did channel. And I think most of us, there were 38 in the group, and I think most of us did.
Cool.
And I had a particularly profound and humbling experience. where the divine director, on the cards, the keepers, is it the keepers of the light or the earth magic? I think it's keepers of the light, divine director. I'm sure he's in that pack, Kyle Gray. And we'd each been given a card that Janet had been guided by Zak to hold and focus on. And I was given divine director. And he's come up a couple of times when I've used that deck at home. So I was quite interested to see that. And just had the most wonderful, maybe 15 minutes of channeling to 3 other people who were holding space for me. And it was absolutely astonishing. It was
so neat.
Wonderful. And what was so brilliant, because obviously Janet is saying, well, Zak is telling us that really the more contemporary way of channeling is not like Janet does, which is to leave your body and then let spirit take over. It's actually much more of a blending. So you stay fully present, you speak in your own voice, you use mostly your own vocabulary and style of speaking, but every now and again you hear yourself say something that you probably wouldn't normally say in normal speaking terms, so you can just sense. But what I really got, which was astonishing, was I felt spirit move in. I then spoke, I just opened my mouth and words came out, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then when it was time for them to leave, I physically felt them go. And I was almost overwhelmed by a sense of grief, of loss, of separation. And on my first channeling, I said to Spirit, it's time for you to go now. And I felt them move maybe half out of my body, but I could feel still a very strong presence inside. And I said, no, Zak has told us, it's not great for you to hang around. It will make it difficult for me as a human. So you really need to step away now. But as I was saying that, I felt this longing to hold on, to not let them go, because I felt so utterly complete and loved with that spirit energy inside that it was almost, I was saying, oh, you really ought to go. But actually my heart was saying, no, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. So they didn't leave me. And they said, no, we're not leaving you. We're not going to leave you sad. We'll stay as close as this. And it's something you'll get used to. And I thought, I'm sure Zak said that wasn't how it was meant to work. Right. So I chatted with him on the next, when we had our little wash-up session, I asked him, is that okay? And he said, no, that's not okay. He said, the reason they've stayed is because you're feeling sad at the loss. And because they love you so dearly, they don't want to cause you any pain or hurt.
Oh my goodness.
So rather than sort of abandon you, they'll just stay close. And he said, no, he said, they'll probably leave of their own accord later this evening, if they haven't gone already. But he said they will be leaving. They really have to leave fully. Because otherwise we can walk around as a human and be really discombobulated, fuzzy, not really here, and we'll probably step off the pavement and fall under a bus.
Right.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah, the energy just don't mesh.
Just doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. Right. So wouldn't be safe. So I did feel them go overnight, and it didn't feel so bad. But that initial pulling away, on both times I was in floods of tears.
Was that pretty common with people when they channel?
Everybody said they felt the withdrawal, the moving away. Some people were very emotionally affected, others less so. I think the more experienced channelers had got used to that feeling. So, and they also knew that in a heartbeat they could come back in. Right. It wasn't like they were going forever. It was just they were going for now. Whereas it was such a novel experience for me that I couldn't use all that rational thought and say, well, they're only round the corner, they're going to come back in next time I call. And it just in that moment, it was exquisitely painful, extraordinary. And that made me fully believe and let go of any doubt that I was making it up, that I was actually saying my own stuff. I was just, putting on a slightly sort of, more authoritative sort of tone. But no.
Did you get to record it?
I did. I recorded the second one, but I was speaking so quietly because we were sharing the room with another group, and I didn't want to interrupt their flow. So I was sort of whispering, so I can hear it on maximum volume, but I wouldn't be able to put it up and say,
Gotcha.
listen to this, listen to this. But what I think I'll do is transcribe it and then say, you know, this was the message from what I presume was the divine director. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
But oh my goodness me. So, but and then around all of that, really muggle things happened on the third dimension. So I nearly got my caravan grounded on a rutted country lane.
Oh my goodness.
I bent the tow bar. My gas regulator broke, so I couldn't cook in the van, which then I had to go and borrow a cooker hob from the centre. And there was some sort of really like disconnecty sort of 3D stuff. And yet the answer was really simple. You know, there was a garage not 3 minutes from the Earth Spirit Centre who fixed my tow bar for nothing.
Perfect.
And while I couldn't cook in the van, I could just walk a minute across the courtyard and use the staff quarters hob. Yeah. So it was really odd, quite a bit of trauma and sort of disjointedness, but almost instant resolution in the same manner.
Right.
Very strange. Very strange. Don't understand it.
I know it's interesting how when I always call those adventures.
Yes,
you know, because it's like you just never know what's going to happen. You're like, yeah, it's just an adventure.
I know, just put a positive spin on it. But,
you do though, because you're never going to have that experience again. You might as well make it a good one. You know,
might as well make it a good one. Although I must admit, I questioned the degree of adventure and positivity when I stepped out of my car on this rutted country lane that I wasn't even meant to be on, and I stepped up to my ankle in mud, and I thought, in my trainer, and I thought, oh, you're really pushing me now.
I know, I get it.
But you know what? A trainer goes in a bucket of water and cleans off, dries off in the sun. It's fine, isn't it?
Right.
But yeah, so just had the most amazing time. Just an amazing time. Thank you.
So can you contact who did you call it again? Was it a council? Was it a
the card that was from the Keepers of the Light deck was the one I was given was the Divine Director.
Okay, so that's who. Okay,
that's who I was channeling, I believe, and the fact that a lot of what he was saying was to do with the little message on his card, which was all about happiness being your purpose. You know, to make happiness your purpose.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that I channel.
That's part of the adventure right there. You got to make it all happy. Happiness is the purpose.
Exactly. You know, we do. I think there's a part of us in humans that overcomplicate what we're here to do. And actually, if it's just finding the joy, well, wouldn't that be? Oh, there he is. Wouldn't that be perfect? Always like seeing an old friend. And here was the interesting thing as well. Can you see him?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, you recognize him. Yeah. And this was something that Zak said, which I thought was very interesting. He said, we're now in an age where we're no longer in sort of gurus and students, masters and sort of acolytes, adepts. He said, we're all equal. So when you're channeling in, you're meeting the spirit guide, ascended master, God, goddess, whatever, as an old friend. And that's what it really felt like. You sort of felt yourself saying, hello, old friend, which for me is a real big change up from what I was taught before, which was, you know, we're not merely, but we are very much on a lower footing in the hierarchy.
Right.
But according to this beautiful spirit, Zak, he says, no, we are all on an equal footing now. This is a collaboration. This is a team effort. So I thought that was really uplifting. And that I
love that. And I feel like you should, you know, when you, right after doing that, because your energy is so high in that frequency, it's like, go walk out in a city just so you can spread that to everybody without even saying anything, you know?
Yes. And that's, of course, what we can do when we think, oh, it's all beyond us. The scale of the misery in the world and the chaos is too great for me to make a difference. All we have to do is remember that we just sit in a quietude, contact the heart, and just pulse it out.
Yep.
Just pulse it out.
And those are the frequencies that, you know, subconsciously we pick up, rather than the conscious loudness of the 3D that seems to be always bombarding. But you know that underneath it's louder, in my opinion. If you really open up your heart ears, you know, and just kind of step into it.
Totally. It's the dominant vibration, and we spend an awful lot of energy moving away from it because that's what humans do. It's an experiential journey. So it's the most effortless thing to sit in that space and just feel the love.
It is. And I love how it's like that spiderweb of connection. Like, you know, we're all one, you know, even if somebody doesn't prove, you know, like kind of, they have a whole different persona and different beliefs and whatnot, but still underneath, you know, that they're part of it as well. They just have their own little part of it, you know.
Yes. And they're probably on a different journey to find it. And we're not all on the same sort of trajectory.
Right.
We're all stumbling across it in very many different ways. And
we all got our own dance moves. That's what I our little frequency to the moves, you know.
That's it. So when you were last in a disco, a nightclub, or at a wedding, or a do, what did you dance your heart out to? What is your favorite dance song?
You know, I can't even remember, but you know, I always get up and dance to something. It's like,
have you got one song that really does it for you? Maybe when you were in your teens or something.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, in my teens, it was like Michael Jackson. Whenever Michael Jackson came on, it didn't matter what song it was or where it was.
Yep.
Like everybody got up and danced. Or Prince. That was another one.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you?
Mine was Donna Summer, I Feel Love.
Oh, I love that song. I used to sing that song when I was a kid.
I tell you, I would get onto the dance floor and you would have to drag me off it. And I would have that playing on the disco all night.
Yep.
Just that song endlessly if I could.
On repeat. Just keep
on repeat. I know. And it's just that, isn't it funny? I Feel Love.
That's such a good song though.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Fantastic. So what have you got coming up? So what are your sort of signpost challenges?
Well, I love the astrology that you shared with me.
Right.
What was it? The Over the Moon? What is
Hair in the Moon.
Hair in the Moon.
Lorna Bevan.
And it was I started reading a little bit at a time just so I can absorb everything, because right now there's so much going on that I try to just take little bits and pieces to absorb it. And there was a part in there where this first part of the month of April has been like, I thought like last month was whirlwind. This is like now it's like you're digesting everything that happened last month, and you're starting to realize, like, I felt like last month I was a deer in headlights, like, of all the stuff going on. And now I'm finally getting to digest it and put all the puzzle pieces together. And I don't know if it makes more answers or questions, you know. It's been interesting, the dives emotionally, collectively. I know that a lot of people are feeling it. Even just being conscious of what I see in my reality is really feeling what collectively what people quote unquote call depression, you know, and how everybody feels isolated and everybody's believed to be isolated. And I don't know if it's coming out of winter, that whole, you know, coming out, I call it hibernation, but there's a lot of that going on here. So it's just interesting. Following all that.
What I'm seeing.
Go ahead.
No, you. Hopefully
but
spring will help.
But I know, spring does help. But I know that I feel like we're in the birthing canal of it all. Like we're, you know, it's coming out, and that was what was brought up a lot in that too. So it was like just a birthing of all kinds of creativity, and I'm excited. I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm just going on with the ride. That's why I just feel like. I don't even have my seatbelt buckled. I'm not even holding on. It's just like.
No. Well, holding on is futile, isn't it, basically?
Right? Seriously.
What I'm feeling and seeing in a lot of people, and they're saying similar things, is the Saturn energy of holding us, almost feeling like it's holding us back, making us go very slowly and carefully, building firm foundations, not rushing it, considered. And my natural impulse is to do the Aries thing, which is to just run hell for leather with Uranus, kicking it all around, breaking it all up.
Yep.
And
I have an Aries moon, so I think that's my thing too.
I think that really was a disruptor. And of course, Eris is in the mix as well, the disruptor. Right. So I'm feeling that almost a conflict between being held back and wanting to charge forward, and that frustration of the two almost acting in conflict. But I know that I can't remember if it was Pam Gregory, the astrologer, or Lorna Bevan in Hair in the Moon,
which are both really good.
Which are both really good. But I can't remember which one. They probably both said it. But the key is to get the best of both the Aries, the Uranus, the Eris, and the best of Saturn, and get the strengths of them working together. So we are moving forward. We are creating a bow wave. We are bringing about profound change. And we're doing it in a careful and considered, steady way, so that when everything comes toppling down, we are building on firm foundation.
Right. I feel we're all looking in our bag of shit we've been carrying our whole lives, and like really looking at it and being like, do we want to carry this? Nah. Do we want to carry it? Maybe. We'll put that one there and think about that one again in a minute.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel like we're doing. But it's really slow, and you have to like ponder on it. It's that whole idea of like, maybe I'll sleep on this one for a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's so many things I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep going forward and trying to get rid of the weight. Because,
Yeah, definitely. Light and agile is the way when it comes to these turbulent times.
Right. And I always say I'm the hermit, so I'm the 9, so I'm always holding the light, but it's like sometimes you got to hold it for yourself too. Sometimes you got to look down and be like, instead of just always looking ahead.
Yes. Yes. Hold yourself to account in the moment. I think, we're so keen to help and to help with the change that I think sometimes our own introspection maybe takes a back seat. We know we're taking on everything else. We're trying to fill the light on everything else, and then just every now and again we do have to come back to ourselves, actually,
right?
Because we are the vehicles for all of that, and if we don't get ourselves aligned, we're not.
You can't do it. You can't do it for anybody else.
Can't do it for anybody else.
I've had that conversation with so many people lately. It's funny that you even brought that up, because it seems to be a reoccurring one.
Yes, it is. And I think those are just the onion layers. Again and again, they reveal another layer. Yep. It's almost like we never come to the end of that journey of soul growth. And I think the human being desperately wants the end in sight. I've done all this work, and I'll keep going. If I could just see that it's all.
Just want a glimpse. A little glimpse.
It's all going to be all right, And, and there's not much sign of that right now. So I think, again, we're being asked to keep
to look within more. Like, you even got to look deeper for it.
Yeah. And just keep ourselves grounded and centered. Stay out of being emotionally drawn into the drama. Just keep a nice objective, detached viewpoint. Observe, send light, love and compassion. Allow it all to unfold, and nurture ourselves, because it is going to be quite a rocky, busy old journey.
It sure is.
At the end, it's not in sight by any
means. With mud included, and
all the dirty bits, exactly, up to your ankle in bloody mud. You think, oh darn it, it's not what I said at the time.
Those adventures.
Lauren, should we do a card?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we're getting to the end. We're coming up to sort of 26 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, but I don't even know when we started recording, but we must be coming up to half an hour. So I have Angels of Atlantis, Work Your Light, Keepers of the Light, and Divination of the Ancients.
Let's do the Ancients. Divination of the Ancients.
Oh, goody, goody, goody. Can you see that?
Yeah, I like that one.
I like this one. This is my witchy deck. And there was a lovely Wiccan witch on our course who helps Janet run the course, and she's called Trace. And there was a lovely starseed called Cosmic One. So Trace, Witch and Cosmic One, help Janet and Zak to keep, hold the space, keep us all present, make sure we all come back from our adventures. So Yes, this is in honor of all the witches.
It kind of sounds like a little bit of a shamanic journey in a sense.
Oh gosh, it was. I
You
think
know, like,
these are just labels, aren't they? But
exactly.
yeah,
They really, I mean,
it's whatever
well,
people identify with best. But
mhm.
it's pretty
Well,
much.
and I feel like whatever they channel best.
Yeah.
So, you know, shamans have their realms they go to.
Yes,
So.
that's it. But it is very much all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, sweetie, I'm shuffling. You say stop when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead. Stop.
Stop. Top one.
That again. Interesting.
Yeah. Ivan, when you watch this episode,
I know, right?
no. What is it? What is it? I wish I could get a really clear hit on why this card keeps coming up for us, for me. Let's read it again.
Okay.
The tarot, and this, I love this. The tarot represents a life quest, and receiving this card lets you know you are being called to your own quest. That's what's happening, Claire. Don't have to keep saying, why can't I get a clear hit on it? This is it. It's time to leave the comfort of your everyday life and do the unexpected. Don't play it safe. Instead, take up your sword and swashbuckle onward, daring to explore every avenue. But don't be fooled along the way, for appearances can be deceptive. Instead, trust in the guidance of the tarot, which will map possible pathways for your personal growth and insight, and will point you towards your very own Holy Grail. Once armed with this information, go seek adventure. You will discover a you that you didn't imagine existed. And the incantation is, and so I'll show no fear, no doubt. As guidance, answers seek me out. Consult I will the map of tarot to guide me beyond the straight and narrow. Time to leave your comfort zone. Your life mission awaits you. Learn the ancient art of reading tarot cards. Consult a tarot expert for guidance. An unexpected offer will be made. Okay.
Interesting. So do you read tarot cards as well?
I don't no, Laurie, I've never learned. I've never been particularly I've never felt the need to learn. I haven't. I've had one other tarot reading way back, at least 5 years ago, and then nothing since Ivan. And now I've had two with Ivan, possibly heading for a third because that card's come up again. So no, but you read tarot, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
And I have multiple decks, so each deck kind of represents something different. I mean, I know that you always have, what the number means and what the suits mean, and
yes,
the major and minor. But a lot of times, if you have those, just the basics, you can kind of look at the picture and whatever your intuition kind of pulls out. You can read the card as a story, like whatever you see, because you're going to see it different every time.
Yes.
And so you can everybody can read. I mean, it's just stepping into that, and of course, the more you know about tarot, of course, that pulls you along even further. But it's really fun. It's like even looking at your cards now, if you were to look at that, like you knew automatically what the feeling was to it, even before you even read it, So that's what I mean. Like you get to know your cards, and but I love reading, and it's I only read for myself and my friends, so it's really I don't do it for money or anything. It's just more fun and just seeing what happens. And
but it's a form. I think it's a form of channeling. I think using the oracle cards for me is a form of channeling.
Yeah,
the connection as you shuffle, the one that comes out, that, as you say, the emotional feeling, the intuiting that goes on. Yes, you've got the little message in the book, but you can also extend that deeper and make that more personal. So what is that card saying to you in this moment, as well as it being your quest or whatever? So I agree.
And that's what I love about it too. And then following a little bit of astrology, because that's a whole nother layer. Astrology, I don't know if anybody ever fully understands astrology from as many years as they have. I mean, I get ideas of, and I love listening to people's perspectives, and listening to multiple people, you start to realize and get like the pieces together. Yeah. And a lot of times when I do cards, even before I'll listen to what's going on astrologically, they'll line up together.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just how that's another piece of the puzzle, and it's the stars really do have a lot to say, and if we just listen to them, they kind of are storytellers, are like future tellers. They're the wise ones. If we're just listening, like you channeling too. I mean, those are the wise ones we need to listen to.
Yeah.
And
God, yeah.
I love it.
Needing that time, aren't we? Oh my goodness me, that's lovely.
I'm so excited for you, and I'm really excited to see if you do tap into that again. Like,
yes. Well, I think to honor it, I mean, we all channel. Some ways are a little bit more formal than others. But like with everything, the more you practice, the more you develop that muscle, the more effective and efficient it becomes. So yes, I think what I may do is, rather than just sit in quiet meditation, is just consciously and with intention open myself up to a guide, invite a guide in, and then I might just record a voice memo on my phone. I'll just speak. I'll just speak and record the voice memo, and just see what comes out. Yeah.
It's really no different than like automatic writing.
Exactly.
It's really you're just tapping in, and
yeah, that's exactly it.
Your voice, or even light language.
Yeah.
Like, you're just tapping into that flow.
But I think the more of this beautiful these downloads that we can get, the better equipped we will be to ride out the next 7 years or so of.
I agree. That's our help.
That's our help.
That's our
toolkit, isn't it? It's our survival strategy. It's our thriving strategy. So we don't just survive.
Seriously.
We actually do make progress in everything, rather than just hanging on by our fingernails and hoping we don't fall off into the void. Oh, my lovely, bless you. So, shall we close at that before we get rudely cut off?
Yes, okay.
And we can exit in an orderly fashion, which is the key word in our Brexit, in UK leaving Europe. The key.
Is it final now?
No. We're heading for another extension while we deliberate a little bit more. But the whole thing is that when we leave, we'll be allowed to.
Oh, all those governments, man. You just got to shake your head at it all. It's like, you do you, is what we always say. You do you.
You do you. I know. And the lovely thing is we know it's all going to come tumbling down in the end, and there will be something.
That's why you keep getting that card.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely right. So let's depart in an orderly fashion, as we say. So here we are. Have I got that one? That's it. So, dearest Laurie, I'll be thinking of you and holding you in my heart for Saturday, for you and your fellow adventurers.
Yes.
I want to hear about it next time.
You got it.
Everybody else out there, soul sisters, soul brothers, star seeds, star beings, cosmic ones, galactic legions, light warriors, and all. We wish you well. Have a wondrous few days, weeks, whatever, till we're back again. And blessed be and beyond, and may the force be with you all. Bye-bye, Laurie, love. Bye, everybody. Bye.